Tap, you know we just gave B Taylor our ass on the silver platter. Cause go ahead, B
I
Taylor.
know it. I know it. I know it.
I see it coming too.
So doesn't that mean that
Mm.
women should get with a man that's already well established and not the plumber and not the man that's an average earner? Because if he gets with you at a time where he hasn't reached his financial peak, then you're not really what he wants. You're what he can get at the moment.
Women get way too comfortable in what they're doing and then blame the man for straying when that man says, like, you are no longer what it is that I'm attracted to. Whether it's your weight, whether it's your mentality, whether it's what you're offering in the relationship, if you are not keeping up, that partner, there's no alignment.
When that man start getting that money, he start looking at his girl like, he gonna have way less tolerance for what you're not doing, which means that you are not improving. The shit that you wasn't doing when we first met, I had a little tolerance for that back then. But now I'm making more money. I done elevated myself, and you still not doing shit. I'm gonna have way less tolerance for what you're not doing.
Shan, I think what you were saying makes sense in theory, right? Like you should just date people in your tribe, stay in your lane, however people want to phrase it. I think where it becomes muddy is that people associate to a tribe the rest of society doesn't ascribe them to, right? And that's why people get mad, because they feel entitled to people they may not necessarily be I don't want to say worthy of, because that's not the right thing, who may not want them, right? And that's where that anger comes from, is I see myself this way, why don't you see me that way too, right? It's not that, you know, I'm shooting above my league and now I feel entitled, right? They see themselves as the same league as those people. And that's where it gets kind of complicated, because how do you tell somebody that's not your lane, you need to be over here?
They
It's
figure
really
that out
hard.
when they keep trying to go for that person and they keep being rejected. They're gonna have to aim a little lower.
All it take is one. I mean, it's just like in the corporate world. You have somebody who go to work late every single goddamn day, every day. Now they may do decent work. They do just enough to keep the job, but when they apply for that promotion and they don't get it, they gonna be mad as hell. It don't matter. Don't matter that I show up late every day. That ain't the point. I see myself as managerial material. You know what I'm saying? Manager material. If I get in that spot, I'm gonna do my thing. You see what I'm saying? So they had the same mindset, and that's why it's kind of hard to say. And don't get me wrong, because I used to subscribe to the same thing. I used to say, hey, man, stay in your tier, or whatever the case may be. But fact is, people have aspirations, and if they stay in their tier at that point, then they gotta, you basically teaching them to settle in every aspect of life. Why have aspirations at all? What you doing right now, that's who you are. That's your circle. The money you making, that's your ceiling. Stay there. Settle with that. I mean, most people not going to do that. Most people are going to shoot and they're going to aspire, and they're going to be disappointed if it don't happen. That's just honest. But, again, hopefully they can look in that mirror, do some self-analysis, improve, and do what it takes to qualify at that level. I think the crime is that when you want to get there, or you want to be in that circle, or you want to sit at that cool table, or whatever the case may be, but you're not working to, attain the accolades or the shallow whatever that it takes to get there, whether it be money, whether it be status or whatever. That's what you need to be working on if you want to be there. But if you're good where you at, then chill. But, again, most people have aspirations.
And you got to be okay with a mate who's good where you are. You guys have to be compatible in that sense.
Do y'all think that line of thinking could contribute highly to the divorce rate? Because I truly believe that a lot of the divorces are happening because people may have qualified at the time for somebody that they necessarily wouldn't qualify for, and as that person elevated, then they out. That's where you hear that I graduated from marriage statement and all those things. I think it's an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree, especially from a male perspective, which goes back to what we said earlier about the dumping all that money into an 18-year-old lap, right? It's because when I was 18, my options was this. Now and as I elevate, which we all know, men, reach their financial peak, I think somewhere around 40 something or something like that. So the older he get, the more money he making, the more his lifestyle improved, the better the car, the better the house, things of that nature. And a lot of dudes will start looking at their women like, back then when I qualified for the 4, it was cool. But now I'm making 6 figures. I'm driving a, AMG. I got a 3,000 square foot house. I feel like I deserve a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna have way less tolerance for what you ain't doing before he just go out and start seeking what those other options that are throwing themselves at him at this point. We're gonna be honest. Let's establish that throwing themselves at him, he gonna be more likely to entertain that. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Yeah, that man. Look, as you grow, you just pointed it out. As you grow, it's not necessarily that she's not keeping up. It's now you see all of the other options that are available to you because they they start to present themselves. You don't have to do anything. They see it like, ooh, this brother right here. Let me see what he's about. Oh, he's married. I bet I'm fatter than his bitch, and that's what happens. And it's like shit.
Tap, we just gave B Taylor our ass on the silver platter. Cause go ahead, B Taylor.
I know it. I know it. I know it.
So doesn't that mean that women should get with a man that's already well established and not the plumber and not the man that's an average earner? Because if he gets with you at a time where he hasn't reached his financial peak, then you're not really what he wants. You're what he can get at the moment. So then y'all want to go back and question why women want to get a man at his peak. It's because we want to see if you really want us. Y'all just set yourself up with that one.
No, so I totally disagree, B Taylor, and this is why, right? I think that as much as we accuse men of becoming stagnant, women also become stagnant, because if that man is increasing in his wealth, if she has a growth mindset too, we've seen what money does for women. We've seen how she goes from a 4 to an 8 to a 10 with money. There is no reason while that man is continuing to peak that you can't be going along with him, right?
And I disagree with that again, because at the end of the day, if you could say, we can be delusional and say you can go from a 4 to a 10. No, you can't. If you're a 4, the highest you can get is probably a 6 or a 7 at most. You're not going to go from a 4 to a 10 unless you surgically do something to yourself. And that's one case scenario where a woman is stagnant in herself. I'm talking about if that woman, he met her how she was, she kept up with herself, but he's at a point in his time in his life where you're probably a 6, and he's like, man, I'm making money that's attracting 10s. That's nothing you can do about it. If that man wants to do that, there's nothing you can go get plastic surgery, bigger booties, bigger boobs, all this stuff, and that's not going to change that man's mind if that's not where he wants to be.
So B Taylor, I think that there's a really big difference between men who find women later in success and men who found success through a relationship, right? If she's helped him build or has supported him as he's grown and she's keeping herself up, there are very few, regardless of what social media says, there are very few of those men that are going to leave that relationship. Will they stray from time to time? Likely, right? But they're not going to leave that relationship because they understand the value of it.
What do you mean stray? So you're saying
hang on. I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished. So I think we've heard it so often from the average guy, from the Pookie and Ray Ray to the successful guy. Men at any financial stage are going to stray, right? The likelihood of it is really high at this point. It doesn't matter.
Where are you getting stats though that proves it? Where are these stats? Because you're using maybe 2 case scenarios. We're talking about in general. These men have just said, no, I'm listening to the men. The men just said that they're going to go for women when they reach their financial peak. They may look at their woman to the right and be like, I'm looking at the woman to the left because I didn't qualify for this is really what the men are just saying. I didn't just pull this out of nowhere.
I hear you.
Backing off of what the men just confirmed to say.
I hear you.
And then you give a case scenario of, well, if she stayed fat, then that's why. Or you gave another scenario. It's like, well, he may cheat on you a couple of times, but you just try your best to stay that same woman that you. What?
No, that's actually not at all what I said about stay that same woman. What I'm saying is keep up. The whole point of partnering up as a woman is to get on this man's program. And if he's elevating on his life and you want to stay where he started, you're now holding him back. You are now the problem. right? And I think a lot of women are not willing to acknowledge that because they're comfortable. You need to get uncomfortable and you need to level up with that man and understand what your role is in his life if you are married to him, right? If he, hang on a second, because I didn't cut you off.
I
So
was
if
not even
you,
talking. You need to relax and us. Like I wasn't even
no,
talking.
you
I'm
so
taking
you've
in what you're
interrupted me
saying, and I
multiple
didn't even
times.
say anything. So you're jumping the gun before I even said anything. I'm just
Right, but
taking
you've
in what you're
interrupted
just
me
saying.
multiple times.
So
I
go ahead and
anticipated it.
continue.
That's all. It's cool. So women get way too comfortable in what they're doing and then blame the man for straying when that man says like you are no longer what it is that I'm attracted to. Whether it's your weight, whether it's your mentality, whether it's what you're offering in the relationship, if you are not keeping up, that partner, there's no alignment. There isn't any alignment. There's no substance to the relationship, right? And if we're talking about men cheating and you got to put up with that, men do that at a lower income rate than the high value guys. So women are dealing with cheating regardless of that man's success level, regardless of his income. Women are being cheated on. And if you want stats on that, have conversations with people in your circle. There are very few women that I've ever had a conversation with that have not been cheated on. It is that common that the majority of women have had at least one or two experiences of being cheated on. It is that common,
Okay, I
right?
didn't want to
What
the
I'm
stats
saying
about the
is if
cheating.
that man chooses to not be there anymore on his own accord, that's on him. But if you are not doing what you need to in that relationship, that's on you. People have their separate responsibilities in the relationship.
But that's not what they said. That's not what they said earlier. They said,
All right, let's settle this. Gentlemen, how y'all feel?
Right. So real quick, let me go first. Let me clarify because that is what I said. If you remember, I said when that man start getting that money, he start looking at his girl like, he gonna have way less tolerance for what you're not doing, which means that you are not improving. The shit that you wasn't doing when we first met, I had a little tolerance for that back then. But now I'm making more money. I done elevated myself, and you still not doing shit. I'm gonna have way less tolerance for what you're not doing. So what she's saying is right. I need you to elevate with me. And again, that's where you understand it kind of gets fuzzy because it's the same thing that women say, right? In terms of it's like we be saying, well, hey man, would you date a man making 50,000, marry a man make 6,000? She'd be like, yeah, but I mean, do he have aspirations? Do he want to be the manager? Do he want to be like the CEO eventually or something? I mean, I date him if he got aspirations, you know what I'm saying? But if he just stay at the 60 or to stay at the 40, I don't know. So again, give men that same situation. If I'm elevating and I'm getting to that bag, I need your ass elevating too. You need to be in the best shape of your life. You need to be bringing me way more value than you was bringing me when we first got together. But if you're still moving status quo, I'm gonna have way less tolerance for that now because I'm up and I'm elevating, and you need to be doing the same. That's what I meant.
Trill, let me ask you a question. So where did the term build a woman come from? The build a woman. Like the woman that
Trigger
I
Mike
think
made that
I
up.
don't know if that's the right term, huh?
Barbara the Builder. That's who
Barbara
it
the
is.
Builder or whatever,
Yes.
or the come up woman. Where did that term come from if these weren't the scenarios?
That came from a woman that was complacent. Again,
Ain't
when I was making 40,000 and I was messing with you, what you was doing was acceptable, but you stayed in the same spot. So that's why you are the come up woman. You're not elevating with me. I need you to move with me when I'm going up, but you ain't elevating. Matter of fact, you getting more comfortable. You getting more lazy because I got more money now, so I can take away a lot of the shit that I may have seen as attributes when we was together, i.e. the cooking. Now all of a sudden we got a chef, the cleaning. Now all of a sudden we got a cleaning lady there 2-3 days a week. So you getting late, raising the kid. Then you're a great mother. Now we got a nanny in the house. So the more I elevate, a lot of times, the more lazy the woman it gets. So that's what they mean by the come up woman. The shit that I seen value in back then, I don't see that from you now. And I need somebody that's moving at the same pace that I'm moving. And unfortunately, that just ain't you. It's just not.
So you would base that off of the things that she's just doing, like cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. Like that's the basis of it. Because I mean, if you think about it, if you've been married to somebody for over 10 plus years, and you know what, you're making more money, then she's able to focus on other things instead of cleaning all day. Like because
Right, right.
if y'all have a big family and stuff like that. So I The come up woman is a term and it's been used a lot. And we've all probably seen the come up woman, the first wife, the woman that was with the guy when he was in school and going through. And she's a decent looking woman, but he went for the tit.
I'll give you an example, right? Because again, the cooking and the cleaning and shit was just a example of benefits that I value when I was younger and I didn't know no better. But what I mean by growing with me, I feel like mentally is the most important aspect of it.
That's true.
See, back in the day when we first got together, we was tripping on, simple shit, going down there, spending that, $30 at Chili's and things of that nature. But the conversations was real limited because we was young and we was inexperienced. But again, I'm elevating, I'm leveling up. So now I might have way more of an interest in politics. I may have way more of an interest in foreign affairs. I may have way more of an interest in things that I just didn't have an interest in. And again, you being my woman, if you're not elevating with me, I can't have those conversations with you. So we are distancing ourselves from a mental perspective, along with, like I said, me making more money and me taking that cooking off your plate, me taking that cleaning off your plate, me taking that mothering off your plate. So all of those things, it's a cumulative thing. But most importantly, it's mental. You don't have the same aspirations as I do, and that's the problem.
I'm trying to elevate and move forward. Can you guys hear every word now? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things she actually said to me is, "Why are you doing this? Aren't you happy?" No, but I might be happy, but I'm not content. Let's keep moving. Let's move this ship. Let's keep going. And that was the beginning of the end, because with that statement, I checked out. She wasn't there with me. I'm gone. She was there in the beginning, helped me build this thing, and then suddenly she got comfortable. But I'm not done. So I checked out.
Did you?
And I think that's kind of what we were talking about.
Communicate that with her?
Do what?
Did you communicate that with her before you checked
Absolutely. I'm a great communicator. Absolutely, I did.
I'll give you a perfect example, just real quick. Let me bring it to more of a shallow place. I don't know how many of y'all watch Power, right? When Ghost was selling drugs, right?
Yeah.
Tasha was all riding with him. I'm riding with him. I'm supporting. I'm cooking books. I'm hiding the money. I'm doing this, that, and the third. But when Ghost came to her and said, "Look, baby, this illegal shit ain't gonna last. I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to start my club. I'm trying to turn this money legal. I understand that you done been riding with me since day one. I understand that you helped me build this, but this ain't working for me no more. This is this is small-minded stuff. You understand me? And I'm trying to expand. I'm up here meeting with billionaires and millionaires, and I'm in rooms with these people, and they like, okay, well, where's your real estate? Where's your property? Where's your this? Where's your that? I just got a damn closet full of money right now. I'm moving wrong, and I'm trying to elevate to that. But what did Tasha look him dead in his eyes and say when he tried to express that to her? She looked that man dead in his eyes and said, "A club? No, you supposed to be the biggest drug dealer in New York City." But then when the man go out there and cheat, he a monster for that. Or try to leave her, he a monster for that. And his kids hate him, all type of stuff. That is an example of what I mean by, again, you might have been my starter chick, but just like Smooth say, you was a stepping stool for me, baby. That's just what it was. My mind ain't there no more. I'm thinking bigger. I need you to think bigger. And if you can't keep up, I'm going to leave your ass right back down there at that mindset.
So who's the complacent one?
I just want to add that Angela was totally down with the club idea. By the way, I just want to.
Yeah, she knew. She knew to it.